How do you take your lovely beachfront property and turn it into a formidable oceanside fortress? Let's find out. Hello everybody, it's Lady Shatana, and welcome back to another one of my inspirations videos. Today we are going to be continuing on our newest project, which is where we are combining oceans and cliffs with the fortress style and the cavern style. So welcome back, thanks for coming back. And today we're going to continue outside, where we will be making this look a lot more like an actual ocean fortress, which you've gotten a little taste of by the preview, the level 1 preview that I showed you in the last video. So let's get to it. So we are going with the assumption at this point that you put enough guard tower levels, probably on the inside in the cavern part, to be able to research the barracks. And we're going to get that barracks going. Now, as I showed you in that level 1 preview, you can just build that dirt platform out so that you can build all of the rest of these things without the actual barracks. But of course, having the proper barracks is going to look better anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that barracks. So let's go here, and we're making sure we're in fortress, in the military barracks, and this is the regular barracks. Escape so we can pop out and look at what we're doing. And let's see, we're going to move this around, and we're going to move this here. And as I always say, you want to take a look at everything at level 5 so you see the true majesty of what you're building. Look at this thing. It's huge. It's so big. But that's awesome. That's all right. That's how fortress rolls in this world. Okay, so as usual, we need to make sure that they are butted up together but not overlapping. And we are using the doorways actually to help line them up. When you are running this at level 1, the doorways are still there. They are just more of a wood instead of stone. So that's how you make sure that everything's lined up. The important thing here is making sure that your ground levels are on the right level as well. And note that while the town hall didn't have a layer that went below the water level, the barracks does have a double level here, and it's probably because of things like the gravel that are put in place on this one. So here we go. So you're going to be using a lot more of that dirt that I told you to gather up when we do it, and then we end up with this this fabulous gate out here. And already just that one piece making everything a lot bigger. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to place that in place. And fireworks, huzzah! Okay, so now we have the gate and the barracks in there. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to put just the basic framework of the walls around. But what we're actually going to be doing on the outside here is we're going to be building some of our colony buildings out here. And my thought is, because the lighting needed for crops, for fields, is a lot more than is easily achievable inside. We're going to put most of our fields and crops and things outside, as well as our forester and some trees for the forester to chop down. We'll probably still put those same mega halls on the inside, just because I like the mega halls and it has those other buildings in there. But we're definitely going to be keeping, for the most part, the fields and things out here. The other thing with that is that with the changes to the food system and the feeding of your colonists, you do actually need a lot more farmers and fields than you used to be able to get all of the different food options. So, okay, enough talking. Let's work. So we are going to be still using that fortress, and we're using the walls and the wall and the wall. And we're going to move this around. Oops, we want that up. And again, getting on that same level there. That is the level 1 wall, as you saw in the preview. But you can see how tall that bounding box is. Usually that bounding box will give you an idea of how big it will be even before you look at it. Now, walls are funny. They only go up to level 4. But that is what we've got here. So what we're going to do is we're going to place one wall segment right there. Now, if you noticed in my little preview, we're actually going to just quickly change this time to daytime so that we can see everything. Okay, now, if you noticed in the preview, the section that was right here looked a little bit different from the other walls, and they are actually a new custom piece that I designed that should be getting added into, we're not quite sure if we're going to add it into Fortress or Cavern, maybe both, but I will put a link to a folder where you can download the schematic itself if you want it for now until it gets added into something else, so I'll put that in the description. But this is what I call the seagate. It's just a large special gate. And it is going to be, because it's a custom design of my own, it's going to be in your personal folder. So anytime that you do anything with Minecolonies, if you build something and scan it, which I can show you, I think in another video I've shown you how to do that, you will get a folder with your username, and in there will be any of the special scans that you've made yourself. This one is called the seagate, and let me move it into place there. That looks backwards. It was backwards, but that's okay. Moving it over there, and it's right there. Nope. Up, over. Aha. Okay, so that's the level 1 version of it, and it does increase. So let's actually go back here so you can see. So it does increase. Level 2 gets a little bigger, level 3 a little fancier, and level 4 is a big glorious gate. So it looks like a sea gate. So you can open that up, and that is how it makes sense that you've got your boat in here, your supply ship, because now you can actually get it in and out. You can't actually, it doesn't actually work. There may be a way to have a gate that works. I am not the kind of redstone person that can make that happen. It does have these little bits to suggest that there is something working on the inside to actually open and close these gates. But they don't actually work. They are decorative. And so then we've got this really great, sort of floating platform for citizens to use back and forth, and as well as the little stair here so they can come from the upper battlements and down for that. So that is my sea gate. I'm really happy with it. And like I said, we're not quite sure which style we're going to add it into, or if we're going to maybe add it into both. We don't know, but that is the sea gate. So we're going to plop that in right there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add one more regular wall segment. So we're going to have to move ourselves back to Fortress. So one more wall segment. 4, and flip that. Nope, wrong way. Yeah, there we go. And that should go, not there, right there, up. That looks like And from the outside, it's actually this little piece right here, little inset is a good way to line them up. All right, so we're going to add that right there. So as you can see, I'm not worried at all about you know, chunk lines or anything like that. I'm just kind of lining things up as it makes me happy. So the next piece I'm going to add in here is actually the guard tower. And it will be, I believe this one is the alternative guard tower, is the one that goes on the corner. The regular guard tower goes just on as a regular wall piece. So the alternative guard tower right there, and we're going up and over and this way. That should do it, lining that up right there. So what this, so you got to think about it. So you can move this out further and give yourself a lot more space, which isn't a terrible idea. So really just think about how you want your outer area to look. As I said, this is just ideas. You do not need to do what I'm doing, but I'm going to do just one sort of outer wall of builds here, but you could certainly go one or two segments further out and have like you know, a much larger area here, but I'm just going to do the one right there constructed, and then we're going to switch this back to walls. We're going to put things here later, but right now we're just going to get these walls, the whole thing in place, so we can see what it looks like. So up and over, and there we go. Right there, that's a lovely wall. And then we're going to just add all the rest over here. So here we go. Okay, so there we go. So we've got the whole thing in there. Now I did just pop that last level, or that last segment, right into the wall. You probably would have been better off to just fill that little section in with a few blocks, but I was being lazy and I just popped that in there. So as you can see, with the adding of just the walls, and even at level 1, it still looked like it was something. We've turned this into an ocean like fortress looking thing just by adding the walls on that one side. And you know, obviously it's not as formidable at the lower levels, but that's what it is. And then you could definitely, like, you know, think about what you want to do. Like obviously somebody, you know, submarine people could come in and get into your fortress, but if you want to get that far into it, you could build something like you know, maybe even like a layer of or like a row of I don't know, something else, something spiky, or fencing, or iron bars or something all the way down. And it, of course, it also depends on how deep your things are and what kind of area you're building in. You could definitely continue something along here to, you know, match up with what's going on there. It just depends on how you want the whole thing to look in the end. So this is just the walls on the one side. And I'm on this side, I'm not going to put another gate, and I'll show you why later, but I'm going to go ahead and I am going to just place all of the walls around on this side so that we have the full thing done for the exterior bit, and then we'll go on from there. So here we go. Okay, and there we go. And now we're at nighttime now, and so you can see how awesome it looks all lit up and everything at night. So just adding those walls, it's like an awesome fortress already, and it looks so cool, and it looks so much different, honestly, than when you do it just on land, like up against that that awesome cliff, and having the boat in there. Like, it just gives it a completely different feel than when you do it on like the plains or something like that. So it doesn't look like you know, a very alive or bustling kind of area as of right now, but it looks imposing. It looks really, really cool. And it's really interesting to see the town hall there without all the buildings on the outside. It's not something that you normally see because we never build it that way. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to flip this time back to daytime again. Right there. Okay, now, as I said, we're going to be doing the different farm kind of things running out here, as well as the forester. So one thing that we've got is, right now your citizens, in order to do anything, and right now really you've got just your builder and maybe some guards going on, is in order to get anywhere they're going to be using these upper areas, climbing down here, but otherwise using these upper areas because there's nothing for them to walk on around here. Now we're going to actually fill in a lot of this this water area. These whole areas are going to be filled with the fields and things. We're going to have a sort of a walkway, promenade sort of thing that has trees and stuff on it. So we're going to be using a ridiculous amount of dirt. So we're not actually leaving this all ocean because, I mean, we could, if that's what you want to do. If you want to go with this and just build everything else inside, like, absolutely go for it. But I have bigger plans. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a sort of a walkway, promenade kind of thing. Now I've pre-built one, and it's nothing fancy. You can absolutely build something yourself. So what I definitely suggest is using, and I called it temp walkway, is just sort of build a section of something that makes you happy. And you can use that to get your builder to build it, or you can just go along and fill everything in yourself. So I just created this little thing. It just kind of fits in there and lets you quickly pop things into place. So I'm going to add a couple of these. Which way are we going? And it's not even you know, sized properly, honestly. I just kind of made it. Okay, so we're going to be doing that sort of thing to add, you know, more of the walking area, living area. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to leave this blank for now. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some things over here. So on this side, I'm going to start adding the farmer and fields. So there's several different options available to you in Fortress for the fields and things. So let's take a look at the farmer to start with, horticulture and the farm, and we're going to look at level 5. Now it's going to be overwriting the existing wall, but what's cool is by just having the wall there in the first place, you know, like, a lot of the work is already done. Or instead of building the wall, you just build the farmer. So you can do that as well. Instead of you know, doing it in 2 steps, just do it in one, because it fits in the same spot. So let's go ahead and add a farmer. So this guy will be able to work on 5 fields and do all the farming things. So we're going to add that in there, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at those fields, except the actual farmer fields are in infrastructure, and that's a callback to before we had the plantations. So most of our builders, designers had the fields in the infrastructure area, which is why it's in two different spots. I think it was C that I liked. Now, one thing to keep in mind with the new setup of the food system is that you don't need to have full-size fields. Your fields don't need to be huge. They can actually be smaller because you need more varieties of foods. You don't necessarily need more of them. So something like this field C, I really like because it's smaller fields and you get sort of more bang for your buck. You get more in the area. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put down one of those. And then, I don't know, let's take a look at what other ones there was. Fields, so the farm A, yeah, so this one, they've got this one where it's only the one field, if you wanted to do that. Get that down where it would be, and there, and there. But you know, you kind of feel like you're wasting space by doing just the one of that. So let's take a look at. So the B gives you a second field, so you end up with 6. Now I'm gonna put in another one of the C because the way that I do foods, and I think I talked about this in one of my foods videos, is that you plant all the different crops and then you just rotate what crops the farmer is actually using based on what you need at the moment. So you could have crops that are full of, or like fields that are full of crop and just not being worked by the farmer right now. And then, you know, just say if you've got too much garlic, you just turn off the garlic and turn on the eggplants or something like that. So you can definitely do that. So I can just pop that in there right there. So we don't have enough room here for something else. So I would probably just fill this in with you know, dirt or stone or something like that. And then you're going to you're always going to be kind of doing work while the builder's doing their thing, like terraforming and making sure that everything is safe and looks nice and that sort of thing. So you're just kind of sort of fill things in as you go. And what you're going to end up with eventually is you'll probably build something like that, you know, the piece that I had over here, which you will use like this. Let me get back to mine here, and the temp walkway, and like this, like that sort of thing. Is that lined up? Yeah, it's lined up. So you're going to do something like this, and like this, but I'm not going to do that because it's actually going to open that up. So you'll manually build this across here, but you can see what I'm getting at, where you're going to end up with a bit of a courtyard here. Now remember, you actually have that connector, or sorry, the intersection, which is back there. It's only back by a few blocks. So you can actually bust through and finish opening that that doorway there. So you'll have more entrances and exits, and then you can sort of fancy it up a little bit. But you know, again, as we talked about, you know, when we put those in, it really depends on what your cliff face looks like as to whether it's going to be covered or not. So so we're not going to put that in right there, but you can see what I'm getting at with that, and with opening up that that connector. Because if you take a look in here, right in here, and if we just go over here, and I'm just gonna do just a quick 2 block to open it up. See, we're coming out right here, and so if you open this whole thing up, oops, and make it look nice and fancy, close that up. you know, you can add whatever decorations you want to the outside to make it look really nice. But now you have another entrance into the cavern part of things. And because you'll have your residences are inside in the cavern section, and by doing the walk area over here, that will let your farmer get to and from a residence without being too far away. So that's what you're going to want to do with that. Now then, what I'll probably do is that same walkway I'm actually going to run along this area, and the reason I'm going to do that is so that I have places to grow trees outside, which makes everybody happy. Everybody loves to have you know, trees that, first of all, it's going to look nice. Second of all, it's going to just be easier to grow them outside than it is inside. And I will get those in place, and then we'll go from there. So just one moment. Okay, so I just plopped a few of these down, and so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put in a forester in here somewhere. We just have to decide where we're going to put it. Now we could, for aesthetic reasons, keep these two, you know, just blank open, but I think a forester will actually look pretty decent here. And so let's try one and see how we feel. Now Forester is in fundamentals, and looking at that at level 5, flipping that around so that it matches up with the wall. And where are we at? Down over that way. Oops, not that way. That way. That way. Let's get that lined up. Let's get that lined up right in there. And here, there we go. So it's now lined up with that guard tower in the corner. And yeah, so I think that actually looks pretty nice right there. So we're gonna construct that there. So we now have the forester, and then what you can do is you will have, so this here he'll have an entrance into this area here to be able to come through. And once you've got everything up to level 5, obviously you can build things and make holes in walls and stuff like that, so that they can get through. Or you can build something out here, you know, just lots of different options on what you can do. But they'll be able to get in and out of the area here through this spot, this path, or once we open all this up over here, they'll be able to do it through that as well. So now we've got this this nice grassy promenade kind of area, and we have the forester here. So what you're actually going to need is to add some trees. So you'll probably pull up some various bits of tree here, and you'll just pop them down wherever brings you joy. So let's just get a couple of them down here. So as we work, it will do its thing and grow some trees. So let's do that. And there you go. So you've got that first bit there, and so when you pull back a bit and take a look, it looks pretty cool. It has a lot more life going on right here, and we've got that first bit of stuff that we really need, that farmer, in a place where the fields are going to grow very, very nicely. So let's go ahead and let's just finish. Put another one here, just to kind of make it look like it's finished on this side. Do and do and do. Boop 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 boop. Boop boop boop. You guys should hear the crazy singing that I do when I speed things up. I do sing a lot to myself. It's very, very amusing to me. Okay, so, and then again, you can put another hut right here. You can we'll think about maybe what we might want to do there, but you can just put those walkway areas, you know, as a temporary sort of measure. But when we pull back, there we go. You see how it looks much more finished. And we're going to still keep some water on this side, but we're not going to put a boat in it because we don't have a seagate on this side. But again, this side is going to, we're going to be doing farmers' fields, and we'll probably do some of our plantation things here as well. A lot of the foods type things we're going to do on the outside here, and we're going to end up with sort of a pool kind of here, but then we're going to fill in a lot of the rest of this. So I think that's good for today. That brings us pretty close to where we were with that level 1 preview. And look at this, we have got ourselves a pretty amazing spot on the go. So on the next video, we're going to add a dock and another ship or 2 or 3, and we'll work on those, filling this section in with what we're going to do. And then we might do a few more things on the inside and think about how we're going to deal with how this looks over here. So we're going to stop it right there, and I'm really quite proud of this idea and how this all looks and how it's all coming together. And I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic day and that we see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.